The moment I stepped off the plane in Bangkok, the cool air conditioning of the airport met the humid heat outside. The terminal buzzed with voices, rolling suitcases, and endless announcements. As I walked through immigration, I noticed a friendly stranger. His name was George, a tall, slim man with warm brown skin and neatly styled African hair. We struck up a conversation about our travels. He was in town for business, and I was here for a short getaway. We shared some laughs, exchanged a few thoughts, and parted ways, thinking we'd never meet again. Or so I thought. Later that night, the hotel lobby had a calm yet elegant vibe. Soft piano music filled the air, and the scent of jasmine drifted from an incense burner near the reception. I was sitting alone, enjoying a custom-order super spicy chicken pizza, with a cold local drink to balance the heat. Just as I was about to take another bite, a voice called out, "Sophie?" I looked up, surprised. It was George. He grinned. "I can't believe this." I laughed, motioning for him to sit. "What are the odds?" "Come, have a seat." He sat across from me. "How's Thailand treating you?" "Good. Just me, my food, and my adventure." I gestured to my plate. "Want to try? But fair warning, it's nuclear-level spicy." George smirked. "How bad can it be?" He took a bite, and the heat hit him hard. His eyes widened, and he fanned his mouth. "Oh, this is too spicy. What is this?" "Lava?" I laughed. "I warned you." He coughed and asked for a drink. Before he could decide, I offered mine. "Try this. It's a local soda-ish drink." He sipped and slowly relaxed, letting out a relieved sigh. Much better. But wow, that spice was insane. Still wiping his brow, he asked the waiter, "Get me the same drink as hers." A few moments later, George took another sip. But then, his brow furrowed. "Wait, I feel weird." He blinked, his posture shifting. "A little lightheaded." I tilted my head. "Well, yeah, it has alcohol." His eyes went wide. "What? Alcohol?" My stomach dropped. "Oh my God, George, I'm so sorry." I didn't think. He ran a hand over his face. "I've never had alcohol before. It's not allowed in my belief." The weight of the moment sank in. "George, I swear I didn't mean to." He chuckled softly. "It's okay. Honest mistake." But I wasn't about to leave it at that. As dinner wrapped up, I smiled. "Let me make it up to you. Tomorrow, dinner's on me. No surprises, I promise." He raised an eyebrow. "No crazy spicy food? No mystery drinks?" I laughed. "You pick the place." He smiled. "All right, deal. Let's meet at the cafe next door. Let's exchange numbers." The next day, after a long day of exploring, I returned to my hotel room, exhausted but excited for our dinner. As I collapsed on the bed, my phone buzzed. "George? Still on for tonight?" Me. "Of course. Meet in 10? George. "See you there." We met in the softly lit hotel lobby where George was already waiting. "Ready?" he asked, smiling. "Let's go." I nodded, and we headed to the cafe he suggested. The place was beautiful. Tables surrounded a large, crystal-clear pool reflecting the soft glow of string lights. A calm melody played in the background, setting a magical atmosphere. The waitress handed us the menus, and George scanned it. "I'll go with the steak." I opted for spaghetti with meatballs. Our food came, beautifully presented. As I twirled my fork, a sudden thought crossed my mind. What kind of meat was this? The menu hadn't said. I just realized they didn't mention what meat this is, I said. George raised a brow. "You don't eat certain meats?" "I don't eat beef, and I think this might be beef." Without hesitation, George reached for my plate. He took a bite, chewing thoughtfully. Then he frowned. "It doesn't taste like beef, but it's not chicken either." A sinking feeling settled in my stomach. "Should we ask?" He waved the waitress over. "Excuse me, what meat is in this spaghetti?" She smiled. "Oh, that's pork." George's face went pale. He whispered, "Pork?" The waitress nodded and walked away. George immediately stood up and rushed to the restroom. I sat there horrified, knowing his beliefs didn't allow pork. Minutes passed before he returned, slightly shaken but calmer. "George, I am so sorry. I should have asked before you tasted it." He shook his head. "It's not your fault. Neither of us knew." I sighed. "Still?" He smiled faintly. "Let's just forget about it. Lesson learned, always check the menu." I chuckled. Agreed. We decided to make the most of the night. After leaving the cafe, we wandered the city, chatting, laughing at the evening's disaster, and ended up catching a late-night movie. 2 days later, as my departure approached, George helped me with my luggage, placing it in the cab trunk. "Thanks for everything. I'm really glad we met again," I said. He smiled warmly. "Me too. Take care, Sophie. Safe travels." Without thinking, I hugged him. It was warm and full of unspoken gratitude. "Till next time?" he asked as we pulled away. "Till next time," I grinned, getting into the cab. And just like that, a chance encounter in Thailand became an unforgettable story.